So it appears a Kelsey Plum for Jewell Loyd swap may be close to inevitable at this point in time because, it was reported, Annie Constable, the Chicago Sun-Times reported that the Sky are out on Jewell Loyd. And as she does, this is something she does extremely well, is she'll write a piece about the Sky and then tell you the real news within the piece about the Sky. It happened with Stephanie White. It was like, the Sky are very unlikely to get Stephanie White because she's been hired by the Fever. And same thing here. It's like Jewell Loyd wants to go to the Aces was in there. And that makes sense. It does. Just the easy swap. Kelsey Plum to Seattle, Jewell Loyd to Las Vegas. I mean, that's about as good a return, I would think, as the Aces are going to get for Kelsey Plum. It also sends Kelsey Plum to a region she's familiar with. She just had her jersey retired at Washington. She goes to a franchise in that way where she can be, she'll be with other good players there. Skylar Diggins-Smith and Neko Gumake, to name a couple, on a team that can compete, but she would have more of a, I think, front-facing role with that squad than she does with A'ja Wilson on the Aces. And then there's the reaction to it, which I found amusing, because some of the people who are talking about this stuff don't know what they're talking about. And I don't mind putting this person on the Summer Jam screen because they called me a wannabe YouTuber. So my guy Jay posted Jewell Loyd is not better than Kelsey Plum, right? And then this person, Taylor J, who got out on me about the sources thing, says, I'll give you a few minutes to delete this and post these stats as if they're an own or a dunk. And there's Jewell Loyd's total stats, which are, I guess, marginally better than Kelsey Plum's, actually more or less the same. When I look at the total, I don't see a big difference there. And then you go underneath that and she posts Jewell is better and it's not close, while showing that Kelsey Plum's stats are better, which is just an odd thing to do, because you see the totals there. But if you look at the percentages, 36% from the floor for Lloyd, 27% from three, to average 2 more points, versus Kelsey Plum, 42% from the field, 37% from three. Kelsey Plum takes 1 more shot a game, she's averaging more points. Yeah, like, the level of basketball analysis in the W sphere is in the toilet oftentimes. And it's just amusing that would be posted as if it is some sort of dunk. And I don't even mean that as a diss to Jewell Loyd, because I think Jewell Loyd obviously was in a situation she wasn't happy with in Seattle. With the Aces, maybe she will thrive. I still think the question that they had with Kelsey Plum, Lloyd plays some defense, but she's not huge. So you put her in the backcourt with Chelsea Gray, and Chelsea Gray's not fast. Lloyd isn't big. So you may have some problems in the backcourt defensively, but Lloyd competes, and she obviously has the ability to go off. So I think it would be a good move for Las Vegas. Don't get me wrong. But Kelsey Plum was also, the NCAA women's leading scorer before Caitlin Clark broke that record, and has been an efficient scorer at the WNBA level, and very well could put up bigger point totals with a bigger role offensively, a bigger share of the offensive load. So I think it's as close to a good swap as you'd get in a situation like this to make all parties happy. So I do believe we will see a trade of Kelsey Plum for Jewell Loyd in the very near future. But it doesn't make the Aces more of a super team than they were, because as you just saw there, Plum and Lloyd are comparable players. And if you're just going on the numbers, Plum is better. Just purely on the numbers. Now, numbers don't always tell the whole story, because one player may have to take more difficult shots than the other. It's the way you're defended. It's the roles, all those things. But I did find that I found it amusing, because I've had to deal with it a lot, and so often takes in the W basketball community are based on agendas or emotion, or I don't know what else. And when you're just talking basketball, these things get brought in. And Kelsey Plum's a hell of a basketball player. Defensively, she was barbecue chicken a lot last year. So that is something to keep in mind. But I like this, I like the idea. On paper, I think it makes sense. Lloyd has spoken very positively about Asia in the past as well. Lloyd is obviously a competitor. I mean, look, here's an interaction she had, in fact, with Asia Wilson that blew up pretty big at the time. That became the meme. So it seems like there's the foundation for something there too, which would make all parties happy. And at at this juncture, it's funny because it's full circle. While I'm posting, I just realized this. The sources thing I posted was about Kelsey Plum. When I said speculation from informed reporters gives me the idea that Kelsey Plum very likely could be on the move, and people are like, sources. And I showed them the sources of the speculation. I didn't need to because it's speculation, but whatever. And now it's almost like a guarantee Kelsey Plum is going to be traded. And then the same people are trying to argue, that Jewell Loyd is significantly better than Kelsey Plum while posting proof of the opposite. So, sorry, I'm being a little petty. I'm usually not this petty, not this Tom Petty, Richard Petty, Petty Crocker, as I said on the live yesterday. But WNBA free agency, officially the contracts can be signed February 1st. So you would see an announcement like that. And that's the other thing. That's one of the differences between the NBA and the WNBA. There aren't that many reporters who have the inside information. So much of it has come from Annie. There are other good people out there in the industry and will continue to grow. But it's not like the NBA where you've got all these competing insiders who are constantly giving you tidbits and rumors. So a lot of these teams, real G's can move in silence like lasagna. A lot of these teams can work a little bit more under the radar than I'm typically used to in a free agency period. And this is probably the most under the microscope a WNBA free agency period. I'm thinking about, we haven't gotten like a single update on Kelsey Mitchell's situation other than the fact that the fee recorder. And if that was the MNBA comparison, we'd have multiple stories every single day. So those are some of the differences, other than also the fact that you can't make basketball arguments in a rational and reasonable way without being attacked. There you have it.